Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Anton, and today we're going to be checking out Adele's brand new music video for I Drink Wine. We've actually done a full album reaction of all of Adele's records, so if you want to check those out, click down below. And yeah, I'm excited. I haven't heard most of these songs in a year, actually. I haven't heard this in a year, so, but I forget if this is one of the highlights of the record for me. I completely forget. I think my favorite song on the record was Can I Get It? Can I Get It Right Now? That song is so good. But anyway, sit back, relax, and let's get into Adele, I Drink Wine. Whoa. Whoa, I love the artistic style.
How can one become so bounded by choices that somebody else makes? How can we both become a version of a person we don't even like? We're in love with the world, but the world just wants to bring us down.
She's like pouring wine.
By putting ideas in our heads that corrupt our hearts somehow. When I was a child, every single thing could
Adele has such good vocal tone.
Mind.
So much feeling.
Soaking it all up for fun, but now I only soak up wine. They say to play hard, you work hard, find balance in the sacrifice. Yet I don't know anybody who's truly satisfied.
Except for that guy.
You better believe I'm trying to keep climbing, but the higher we climb feels like we're both none the wiser. So I hope I learn to get over myself. Stop trying to be somebody else.
Yeah, I really related to this last year. I remember this.
Each other for free.
Such a cool video.
Everybody wants something. You just want me. Why am I obsessing about the things I can't control? Why am I seeking approval from people I don't even know? In these crazy times, I hope to find something I can cling on to. 'Cause I need some substance in my life, something real, something that feels true. You better believe for you I've cried high tides, 'cause I want you so bad, but you can't fight fire with fire. Oh, I hope I learn myself.
And the songwriting is amazing with this. So many layers.
Oh, I just want to love you for free.
Good line.
Everybody wants something from me. You just want me. Listen, I know how low I can go. I give as good as I get. You get the brunt of it all, 'cause you're all I've got left.
This is one of the coolest music videos I've seen in a long time.
Oh, I hope in time we both will find peace of mind. Sometimes the road less traveled is the road best left behind. Well, I hope I learn to get over myself.
song builds. There's slight tension rising.
To keep climbing, but the higher we climb feels like we're both none the wiser.
Is it over already? Oh my! That felt fast. I love the vibe of this. So much nostalgia.
The only regret I have, I wish that it was just at a different time.
Wow!
Period of my life.
Holy shit!
Why would I put that on you?
No.
That's just like a very heavy thing to have to talk about. But because of that period of time, even though it was so much fun, I didn't get to go on and make new memories with him. There was just memories in a big storm.
Wow. 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 Adele, I drink wine. Man, this wow. This was something else. I just have to like sit for a moment here, but that was an artistic achievement. That was wow. I think one of Adele's like greatest gifts is she has such a potent energy. I find when you listen to Adele, like you get transported into her world. Like she has so much charisma. It's like you lose yourself inside of her, you know? Like when I'm listening to this, I'm just like, this is all just like washing all over me. And then also like I said, the video was absolutely spectacular. Like I didn't know the production was that big too. Like at the end when, you know, again, it's such a mastery of like cinematography, how just with lighting, you know, yeah, the absence of light, you can trick the brain so easily. And then once they start showing the lights, and then you get a grasp of how big the actual landscape is, and that massive screen and everything around it. It's just like, I was like, wow, this is monumental. Such an absolutely incredible set. And whoever like wrote the treatment for the video and where the video was gonna go, like they deserve, like absolutely incredible. And I know I said like this is the best music video I've seen in a while, and I literally said the same thing yesterday because of the 5-Finger Death Punch videos that we did. Like they were same kind of thing, like very cinematic. But other than these last 2 days of videos, like it literally feels like I haven't seen a video that's like this artistic in a while. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is what I love about videos like this is I was chatting with another friend of mine. He's a director and he's like worked with like Hollywood and stuff. And we were talking about like good movies and bad movies. And And I remember like saying, I was like, yeah, bad movies are okay to watch because you know they're bad. But what the issue is mediocrity. Because mediocrity, you listen to enough mediocre music, you see enough mediocre movies or TV shows, and the problem with mediocrity is it tricks you into thinking that's what reality is. That's all music is. That's all TV is, movies, books. And like your bar becomes so low and you stop being inspired by things. Like at least if you see a terrible movie, you're like, okay, that was brutal. Like you can laugh at it and you're like, that's not indicative of anything. That's crap. And then you see an amazing movie and you go, oh man, like this is what life's about. Just witnessing incredible art. And I feel like a lot of the time, you know, like I review a lot of music, right? And I think I review a lot of good stuff. Like, you know, I review a lot of great music on the channel, and I review a lot of, you know, mediocre stuff that doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really inspire me in a big way, right? And the issue with that is if that happens too often, I end up going down this road where I start thinking like, wait, do I just not like music as much as I used to? You know, do I just not like movies or TV or books as much as I used to? And that's what happens. It's like when you see too much mediocre stuff, you start to like question your own sanity. You start to question, is anything in life actually spectacular? And then that's why it's cool when you get something like this and you go, oh yeah, like there's some amazing stuff. And it just shows that the stuff I usually check out just isn't up to that artistic bar. You know what I mean? That standard is just not being met. And, you know, whatever people think about Adele, like, she's incredibly talented. Like I said, she's so charismatic that her music has so much emotion and texture and feeling. Like, one thing I find about Adele is, this is what I talk about, like, with artists like Sarah McLachlan, Tori Amos, and there's a lot of them, but really emotional artists, is they give you like they give you a feeling, and they'll give me colors, and they'll give me shapes in my mind. And what I've kind of gathered with that is, like, a good artist, there's so much density in their work, and their work has so many facets that it literally, like, it gives me all of these different angles of feeling. You know what I mean? I'll see colors. I'll get swept up in the emotion. I'll start to feel shapes and stuff. And Adele does that. Like, she's so dense and rich in her art. And yeah, you know, people can say like she's kind of a one note. She has one vibe, and it's more like sentimental and emotional. And I get that. And she does break from that vibe every so often. Like, you know, Can I Get It? That's one of my favorite songs by Adele ever. And it's like an upbeat, really catchy, fun song, right? But definitely the average thing by Adele is more of an emotional, lingering, like her music lingers with you. You know what I mean? When it's over, it's not over because it's kind of in you. And you're carrying her vibration, you're carrying her vibe with you until it's kind of purged out of you. Again, like she has so much talent. Like it blows me away sometimes, even though I don't find myself listening to Adele all the time. She's not someone I listen to all the time, but when I'm in that Adele mood, like nothing can scratch that itch like Adele can. There's few artists that can just hit you in that specific way Adele does, because yeah, Adele doesn't make music like anyone else. You know what I mean? When you listen to Adele, it's like, okay, we're in Adele territory, and she's going to give you a vibe and an emotion that no one else can give you. You know what I mean? If you want that kind of sentimental vibe of looking at the past or self-reflection in that kind of, even the way like I drink wine, like I can literally, even when I didn't see the music video for the song, when we did the full album reaction, I remember, like, I don't remember actually because that was a year ago, but I'm listening to the song now. I can see her singing this song, sitting on a couch, like with a glass of wine, just almost like a therapy session. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're the therapist and you're just watching her and listening to her as she just speaks about her life and what she's been going through. You know what I mean? She has such a, Adele also, this is what I'm getting at. Adele has a very colloquial, intimate vibe. Intimate. The music is very intimate. It feels like you are, as I just said, her best friend, drinking wine together, sitting on the couch, and sharing your life stories. Like, it feels so intimate. It feels like you're in on a little secret, like a little conversation. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's jump in the lyrics in this one now. All right, we're back with Adele, I Drink Wine. And so in her interview with Rolling Stone magazine, I Drink Wine was described by Adele as a song about shedding one's ego, complete with a bit of 70s Elton John and Bernie Taupin flair. I get that. The piano, yeah, it definitely has some Elton vibes. And every once in a while, Elton John would come out with a song like this, because we did also a full album reaction to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which, again, down below if you want to check that out. But yeah, Elton John would sometimes get in this vibe too. I've noticed. He does, I don't know, like Candle in the Wind. I think Candle in the Wind kind of has a bit of this vibe or something, a bit of that sentimental, you're listening to Elton tell you a story about someone he knew, some young kid or whatever, because I think that's what Candle in the Wind was about. A young protege or a young kid who's kind of making waves in the world. But I took everything so personally at that period of time in my life. So the lyric, I hope I learn to get over myself, is like me saying, once I've done that, then maybe I can let you love me. Adele also pulled a Barry Manilow trick on the song where every chorus is sung differently. I actually didn't really realize that, but again, I love that. Again, her attention to detail is incredible. She put on different characters while recording the background vocals too. Wow, that's cool as well. Again, that attention to detail is just like, I feel like, the word artist is stated a lot. It's thrown around like, oh, this is an art. Like, again, we go on Apple Music or our phones and it's artists, right? But it's like, man, if everybody's an artist, what is Adele? Like this is what I say. Like, a lot of people are musicians. I feel like Adele's like an artist. This attention to detail, again, like she's doing all these background vocals, and each layer of background vocals is a different character with a different backstory and a different like kind of personality. Like, that's so cool. You know what I mean? It made it less intimidating because some of the things I'm talking about really hit home for a lot of people. Wow. Let's see. How can one become so bounded by choices that somebody else makes? Obviously that's with fame. Right? Well, even think about me. I can relate to that. My entire channel is you guys bringing me music, right? So it's like, I'm bound by living. Essentially, what I'm doing is you guys are bringing me what I'm going to interact with in my life, and I'm going to interact with it. I'm not choosing what I'm interacting with. You guys are choosing. So it's very interesting. It's this delicate dance you have with your audience of it's your art and you're reflecting on it, but they are part of the process that's steering the art you make. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. But how come we both become a version of a person we don't even like? This happens all the time. Have you ever found yourself in an argument with somebody and they end up shitting on something and you're not even like a fan of what they're insulting, but you end up like defending it? Like, that's happened to me a lot. We're like 10 minutes into an argument, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I defending this? Like, I don't even care. It'll be like politics or social issues. And I just find myself taking devil's advocate because essentially I'm not retaliating against the person's idea. I'm retaliating against their energy. Their energy, they're just like, again, for me, I don't like gossip. So anytime someone starts gossiping about something, I'll usually defend what they're gossiping against, whether or not I agree with it. I don't like that energy of gossip. And so that's interesting. We're in love with the world, but the world just wants to bring us down by putting ideas in our heads that corrupt our hearts somehow. When I was a child, every single thing could blow my mind. God, man, didn't I go through like the last 6 months? Like, that was literally, wow. It's so funny. Again, I reviewed this album a year ago, and I guarantee if I reviewed it again, I'd have a different perspective on every song, on every single lyric. Like, even some of you are probably going to go back to this full album reaction after I do this song, and you watch this reaction and be like, oh, I wonder what Anton said about this a year ago. You know what I mean? Because I'm in such a different place in my life. But like, for the last 6 months, I've been like a broken record with you guys, talking about how I've been trying to like retain a sense of innocence and youth again. Because when I was a child, everything would blow my mind. You know, everything, I would get sucked up and immersed in things. And now I'm kind of getting back to that. But it is harder as you get older to get immersed in things, because you have so many voices in the back of your head telling you you're supposed to be responsible, and you know, you can't let yourself get too involved in a TV show or an experience, because you have to be mature and responsible and be aware of everything going on in your life. So as an adult, I find we have, like, if you don't write down your tasks for the day, it's like your brain is holding on to all of that. It's like, okay, at 12 o'clock, you have this appointment. At 2, you have to do this. At 3, you have to do this. And it's like, kids don't have that. Kids don't have a laundry list of things they have to do every day that kind of keeps them from getting immersed in anything. Because it's like, if I get too immersed in this, I might forget my responsibilities, right? Like, I know I have that a lot. And so, yeah, I love this line, because this was like the last 6 months of my life. Soaking it all up for fun, but now I only soak up wine. Yeah, great lyrics, just very thought-provoking. They say to play hard, you work hard, find balance in the sacrifice, and yet I don't know who's truly sad, and I don't know anybody who's truly satisfied. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I notice that all the time. I start to pay attention to the people that gave me my beliefs. You know, my mother, my father, society, mentors, teachers. And as a kid, you get handed all of these shoulds and beliefs, and then you end up never questioning them, and you go through the rest of your life thinking that's what you think about things. But really, that's what someone's handed you. And then you get to a point where you go, wait, all you people that told me all this stuff, you guys are fucking unhappy as shit. You know what I mean? Like, all you guys are miserable, and you have failing marriages, you're all divorced, you're unhappy, you're cynical, and I've been maintaining all of your beliefs that you've handed me. And so it's interesting that, yeah, like when you really question, like, wait a minute, why do I believe that? Why do I believe I have to sacrifice so much to be happy? You know, why do I think to have fun, I have to slave my life away? You know what I mean? And live for the weekend or whatever. Like, who said that? You know, can I enjoy every day? But it's like, no, you gotta grind every day and live on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like, it's just interesting when you actually think about, yeah, what you believe and what has become your prison and what has made you miserable that you're actually telling yourself every day. Like, what things are making you miserable about your life, but you're the one upholding those things. You better believe I'm trying to keep climbing, but the higher we climb feels like we're both none the wiser. Yeah, like a mentor of mine, he always says, enlightenment or wisdom is horizontal, meaning every time you get to the horizon, you know, when you look at a horizon and you can never get to the horizon because every time you get to where you thought you had to be, the horizon is moved. And that's like wisdom, that's life, that you're like, okay, I'll be happy when I get there. Or I'll know what the fuck I'm doing when I get there. I won't feel like such a fraud, an imposter, whatever it is. You know, like for a lot of us, is when we become adults, then we won't have our insecurities anymore. Then you become an adult and you go, wow, now I just feel like an imposter. I think everybody else is an adult. I'm technically an adult, but I still feel insecure, right? But then you don't tell anybody because the whole game is once you become an adult, you're supposed to have your shit together, right? But no one really does. So it's just interesting, like all of these things that, like, yeah, why do we keep lying to ourselves and other people around us, you know? So I hope I learn to get over myself. Stop trying to be someone else. Stop trying to be somebody else. That's elusive too. Stop trying to be somebody else. Because like I even notice this now. There's so many layers of stopping trying to be somebody else. I guarantee a year ago, doing this reaction, I probably highlighted that exact same line. And I told you something like, yeah, you know, I finally learned that I don't need to try to be somebody else. And here I am like, man, I just learned that I don't need to, like, and I'm sure in a year, I'm going to look back on this video and be like, hey, yeah, you didn't understand it then, but you understand it now. Like, I feel like every time it's just like you get deeper and deeper and deeper with yourself. It's just, yeah, it's interesting. Like, I still catch myself like, oh man, I'm still upholding. And maybe it's less like I'm trying to be somebody else, because I don't really feel like I'm trying to be somebody else. What I find is I'm trying to be and maintain an image of something that's not really me, I'm trying to uphold beliefs. I'm trying to play into who I think I'm supposed to be. And really, in some sense, that's somebody else, because why do I think I'm supposed to be that person? What does it mean to think you're supposed to be something you're not? Doesn't the definition right there mean that you're not yourself? The thing that you're trying to be is not yourself, because aren't you kind of yourself as right now? And you're trying to be something else, meaning what is that something else? It's probably, again, all the things that other people have told you you're supposed to be. And then obviously the one caveat to that is if the person you are right now, you realize is wearing all of the masks of everybody else. So the person you're trying to get to or be is someone who's actually more authentically you. So I would say less, that's not as much trying to be somebody else as trying to let go of all the things you're not. Like, that's how I kind of view myself. I'm in the process of letting go of everything I'm not, and so we can love each other for free. Yeah, once you actually are at peace with yourself and you can finally love people. And actually, more importantly, you can actually let somebody love you. Because if you don't love yourself and you don't understand yourself, every time someone says they love something about you, you feel like they're like lying. You're like, well, how do you love that? Because I don't love that part of myself. Or maybe you're like, maybe the thing that they've told you they love is something you kind of know is your facade. They're like, oh, I love how hardworking you are. But maybe you actually have learned to be hardworking because deep down you actually are like kind of lazy. You know what I mean? So you built up this facade of the hardworking CEO girl, the bad bitch or whatever, you know what I mean? That like works really hard and people end up loving you for that thing. And you're like, well, that's actually not me. I kind of feel like pressured to be this all the time. I actually don't like this. I don't value this because it's not really me. And everybody wants something. You just want me. Why am I obsessing about the things I can't control? Why am I seeking approval from people I don't even know? Isn't that YouTube? Isn't that fame? Isn't that, fame and success? Instagram culture, social media culture. We're all chasing those likes and those hearts. I find myself doing it sometimes too. Like I'll make a post and I'll go back like a day. I'll be like, oh, I wonder how many people liked that post. You know what I mean? I'll be like, I wonder who liked it. Merrick, Melanie, Daphne, whoever it is, right? Aaron, Laura, whoever. And you're just like, oh, they resonate with me. But you're still kind of, in some sense, seeking the approval of people that, in this case, I do know all of you guys. So it's not like I don't know you. But you're seeking approval from people that aren't you. You're still just seeking approval. You're it's like deep down, you don't trust that the way you're living your life is actually the right way. And so you're like always trying to seek approval and validation so you can go, oh yeah, I am right. I am deserving of being loved because all of you guys are saying that I'm okay. Because I need some substance in my life, something real, something that feels true. You better believe for you I've cried. High tides, because I want you so bad, but I can't fight fire with fire. Listen, I know how low I can go. I give as good as I get. You get the brunt of it all, because you're all I've got left. Oh, I hope in time, we both will find peace of mind. Sometimes the road less traveled is a road best left behind. Yeah, that's something I'm realizing too. I've really, in the last few months, in talking with some friends and some mentors, I've really come to terms with how emotional I really am. Like I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of an emotional guy, but I'm not that emotional. And I realize now, I'm like, no, I'm definitely very emotional. What I mean by that is I go through fluctuations naturally. And the good thing, what I love about being emotional is I get to feel everything. Like, I was talking with one friend, and she's like, yeah, I don't like emotions. I don't like being emotional. I like kind of being in this blissful, joyous state. And I was like, man, that's almost boring to me. Like, what I love about life is being a conduit for existence, being like I like being so receptive to life that I feel all of it. You know what I mean? And like I was telling her, I was like, yeah, like for me, like I love like putting on a movie, like, you know, When a Man Loves a Woman or something, and just like crying my eyes out. I'm like, man, I don't feel more alive ever than after, like when I have a good cry or something, or when I get really inspired and I get really full of passion. And she's like, man, like, do you like feeling all emotions then? I'm like, I like feeling any emotion as long as there's a reason for it. So for example, When a Man Loves a Woman, there's a lot of highs and lows in that movie. There's crippling despair, there's depression, there's pain, there's happiness, there's joy, there's love, there's pain, there's depression, there's anxiety. And I'm like, I loved feeling every one of those emotions because I felt like it was like for a higher good. I felt like I was like understanding myself through the channeling of somebody else's feelings. But I don't like feeling those of myself. Like, I don't like feeling pain of myself. I don't like feeling, you know, whatever it is, right? You know, I'm much more open to feeling somebody else's emotions than my own. There's something that's more safe about feeling somebody else's emotions because there's like a barrier, there's a buffer that you know deep down this isn't you. It's like going to like it's like uncles when they, you know, when you go and see your uncle and they can have more fun with you than your parents can because your parents feel the weight of responsibility of having to take care of you, right? They're almost afraid of having too much fun because of, you know, I might fuck up my child. I might, you know, this is not what life is indicative of, right? Where the uncle and the aunt are just like, let's just have fun, or the grandparents. Like, they don't have any of that feeling of responsibility. So in some sense, it's easier empathizing with other people because there's not the responsibility of what it means that you're feeling this right now and what you have to go through with yourself. So that's what I notice is like, it's difficult, you know, to be with my own emotions sometimes, but it's easier to be with others. And I actually crave feeling so deeply that I'll be like moving tears or something. It's so cathartic for me. You better believe I'm trying, yeah. Man. But anyway, this was Adele's I Drink Wine. Absolute masterpiece of a song, masterpiece of a video. God, man, Adele is such an incredibly talented artist. But what were your thoughts on this one? Let me know down below. And what are your favorite Adele songs? Let me know down below. And if you want to check out our full album reactions to 21, 25, and 30, join everyone in our Patreon family. You can find the link down below. And also, we've done tons of Adele songs on the channel. So if you want to go on the Adele journey with me, click right here, and I'll see you in the next one.